1945 was the story of the Second World War. It changed my life. Whenever I watch a movie about the Second World War, about Hitler, about Nazi, about Germany, about Europe at war, the number of deaths, I think about 100 million persons died in the Second World War. And then you also talk about the Holocaust, the extermination of the Jews in gas chambers in Auschwitz in Poland, concentration camp. About 6 million Jews were killed. And all of these things happened while God is in heaven. You get to understand from that singular event that God is not responsible for what happens on the earth. The earth has been given to man. Man is the God of this world, although we've relinquished our position to the devil, to Satan. Jesus came to buy back our salvation. When Jesus came, during the temptation of Jesus in Matthew chapter 4, the devil said, I'm going to give you the whole world if you will bow to me. And Jesus did not contest his claim, because at that time, Satan was still the legitimate ruler of the earth after what happened in the Garden of Eden. But you see, after the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the keys of the kingdom has been given to humanity. It's been given to man, and what we do in regards to that depends on us. Although the devil is still actively usurping that authority of man, but Jesus has given us that key, and how we choose to respond to what he has given to us depends a whole lot on what happens. So many things will happen in your life because you permit them to happen. There's going to be pain, poverty, sorrow, heartache, and so many things because you permitted them to happen. But if you will say no to those things, they will stop happening. That's why we take authority as believers. Don't blame God for hardship in Nigeria, for hardship in Africa, or for many of the environmental disasters that are happening around the world. God is not responsible. God is not the one causing it. Neither is God allowing it, because the rulership of the earth has been given to man. We're sold out to the devil, but Jesus has given us a way to buy it back. And that's why the Bible says that whatsoever we agree, we bind on earth, is bound in heaven. Whatsoever we allow on earth is allowed in heaven. Heaven okays whatever we okay. Heaven disapproves, disallows whatever we disallow. So it depends on us. No wonder the Bible says the earnest expectation of the creation waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. So the whole world, all of the crises we see in our world today, social, political crisis, economic crisis, geological crisis, whatever dimension of crisis that we have in our world today, is because human beings have not risen. And when I say human beings, I'm actually talking about those that are redeemed, those that have been saved, those that have found their calling in God. We have to rise up and do something. If we do nothing, situation will continue to remain the way they are around us, around the community, around our nation, around our world. We are the light of the world. We are meant to be the light of the world until we go out there and shine bright. Jesus, giving an analogy, said, "You don't light a candle and put it under a bushel. You don't light a candle and put it under the bed. You light a candle and put it on a candle stand so that it lights the whole room." And that's what Christians, believers, were expected to do. We are saved not to stay in church, not to remain in church, but to go out to the world and preach the gospel and talk about Christ and talk about the things of God and talk about things of the kingdom and change culture to reflect the culture of heaven. That is what Jesus is expecting from us. That's what we are expected to do. So all of the things that you don't like that is happening in your life, you have the authority to change it. If you're a child of God, you can do something about your situation. There is poverty. Go out there and get a job. Pray, trust God to get an opening for you. Jobs may not be out there. Create something. Start something with whatever you have. Have a hand skill. I've always been an advocate of hand skill. I'm a graduate. I'm an engineer by training, but I have multiple hand skills that could fetch me something wherever, anytime. IT skills are very adaptable. They are things that anyone with any background could easily learn. Smartphone editing skills, AI tools, so many stuff. There are other people that have more sophisticated skills like sewing, baking, and so many other things. You could attach yourself to a training organization, formal or informal, and learn something. Develop yourself. Don't just remain in your corner and keep complaining that things are not working, or it's like God is not answering my prayer. The system to change your life is around you. There's always something. It's not dependent on God. There is no time set in heaven for your situation to change. The set time is when you take action. You see that man who sat by the pool of Siloam, when he was there for several years, and Jesus came and said, why are you still in this condition? And the man said, I have no man that will carry me into the water. The man was waiting for other people to determine his destiny. But that day was the day that he encountered Jesus and his life changed. So if you will book an appointment with Jesus today, not tomorrow, there will be a change coming to your life. I just want to share this because I get a lot of phone calls. I get a lot of WhatsApp chat messages of challenges of all kinds of situations, mostly financial, and then finance seems to relate to many other aspects of our life. We take care of our health with money, we eat good food with money, we wear good clothes with money, we meet our needs with money, and so on and so forth. So, and I just have to counsel people and say, see, that change that you need is in your life. If you are poor, you are broke, and you've never done a 60 minutes prayer, you've never done a 2 hours prayer, then I don't think you're doing yourself a favor, because desperation should be a catalyst for change. When you're desperate enough, you will convert your desperation to prayers, convert your desperation to an encounter with God. Jacob, according to Genesis 32 and 33, he was desperate. And so he encountered God, and there was a change that came to his life. So if you were desperate enough, change will come to your life. If you are desperate enough, change will come to your situation. God is not in charge of the whole world. He created it. Right now, almost everything happening in the world today is not the doings of God. It is the activities of man. All of the evils, I can guarantee you, is not the making of God. God is not the author of confusion. He's not the author of wars. He's not the author of poverty. He's not the author of anything evil. The Bible said there is no evil with him. There is no shadow of turning in him. Never you blame God that for any of all of these issues or crisis that is happening in our world today. It is not God that is causing it. God is a good God, and he is out there to change lives, to transform lives. He's out there. He has created a system that will give you the opportunity to be able to become who you want to be if you will follow him. Jesus said, follow me and I will make you. I will make you. God is the one who makes us. We don't make ourselves, but we have to follow him. Many times People just hang around church. They never had an encounter with Jesus. They are not following Jesus. Like we say in African parlance, bumper to bumper. They are following Jesus from a distance. They don't even see what he's doing. And so how can they imitate Jesus? And so they get surprised that although they pray, they're not getting the results or the outcomes that Jesus gets. We need to take actions for our lives. We need to take actions for our lives and trust God that revival will come to us, come to our families. Change will come to our nation, our community, and we will be where we ought to be. We will achieve what we ought to achieve by the grace of God.